Hi, my name is Amira Shah and welcome to another episode of the Hustle Diaries. We will be meeting someone who manufactures an item that we all use so commonly in our daily lives, magnets. Of course, his company uses these magnets in a whole range of applications, from something as simple sounding as lifting heavy objects to much more complex applications that I have never heard of. A marketer and a successful businessman, he comes from a lineage of business entrepreneurs. We are here with none other than the managing director of Permanent Magnets. Hi, Sharad.
Hi,
Thank you so much for coming to Hustle Diaries.
thanks. Thank you.
How are you today?
Very good. How are you?
I'm good. So, Hustle Diaries basically aims to help budding entrepreneurs who are looking forward to starting maybe their own company or through the help of knowing already successful entrepreneurs' journeys and by them giving like advice of from their entire like journey of entrepreneurship.
Yes, okay. Very good.
So our first segment is called KYE, which is Know Your Entrepreneur, and this is where we get to know you on a deeper level. So you come from a business family and hold an MBA from the United States. What was life like growing up, and did it have any role to play in your like entrepreneurial journey?
Yes, it had a big role to play in my journey. It was really good fun growing up in this family.
Yeah.
The family was always in business,
Mm-hmm.
and when I was small, I used to hear conversations from my father,
Mm-hmm.
from my uncle. We lived in a joint family,
Mm-hmm.
so there were conversations regularly about business.
Okay.
And sort of it created some kind of inquisitiveness in my mind
Yeah.
about what the business is
Mm-hmm.
and what do they really do. So
Mm-hmm.
those questions, whenever I was having some questions, I used to ask them and they used to answer. uh, and of course it created a curiosity as well as it sort of made an assumption in my mind that whenever I finish my school, my college education, I'm going to return back to this business.
And you probably end up doing something like that.
Yeah, and it was an assumption which was, of course, known by everybody. Even
Mm-hmm.
my family wanted me to come into business.
Yeah. Yeah.
So my path was actually laid down. I did not create any path
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
to choosing what I wanted to do. It was already sort of laid down for me.
Okay. But then eventually the interest was like sparked to sort of continue, right? Like in the sense like because you said like in your childhood you had that sort of like spark of joining the family business because everyone around you was also into that. So that did like
Yes, I wanted to join and grow it. I mean, the
yeah.
dream was to become a big, successful businessman
Mm-hmm.
and grow the
Yeah.
company.
Yeah.
That was the dream. Uh, how to do it, I did not know. And uh, the parents, they did it the way they ran the business. So I had to discover my own journey after that.
I mean that's the whole thing about entrepreneurship, right? You're just discovering it as it sort of goes on.
Yeah, it's a lot of things put together. It's a
Yeah.
word, but I cannot really define it. But it has a lot of thing inputs that go into
Mm-hmm.
really creating and making a successful business.
That's great. Is there one or more people you would give credit to sort of being like your guiding force or your role model? You said your family really inspired you, but were there any other like people in specific?
There are many points that I got from many people.
Mm-hmm.
Small points,
Mm-hmm.
small learnings. But key people who inspired me and guided me, whom I spent time with,
Mm-hmm.
were my mentors. And even they are, some of them are there today also.
Mm-hmm.
So, one was my uncle, Mr. Shamsundar Taparia, who was the managing director of Permanent Magnets before me.
Yeah.
My father, Jayaprakash Taparia, he pushed me into going for engineering, which I was not planning to go into.
Mm-hmm.
And today it is really helping me. Uh, Third, Mr. Mahavir Prasad Taparia, who is the managing director of Supreme Industries, which is a today 50,000 plus crore
Wow.
market cap company. And he's my mentor. He is more than 80 years old and still very, very active in business and very energetic and sharp. And I learned a lot from him. One more person was Mr. Thakur Desai, who was the CEO of this company. He was a professional from IIT.
Okay.
And when I joined business, I was reporting to him. And as a professional, how a professional runs a business is quite different from generally what a family member, how they will run.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
some key points which I learned for myself were from him. And another very important learning I got, another mentor of mine is Mr. Sanjay Singhal. He is the owner of Secure Meters in Udaipur. He has built
Okay.
a big company from scratch. He built it by himself. And he is a very wise person who has, as he went along in his journey, he did a lot of thinking at each stage and converted those solved problems for himself by way of systems, implementation of systems in the company.
Okay.
And that key learning he gave to all his mentees during a session, and I was one of them. So I feel very privileged to learn from all these people.
That's nice. I like that, like, you took your like different things you adopted from like different people and sort of like helped that in your entire like journey, what you had said.
It is, of course,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah.
From it is very. I believe it is wise to learn from people who have already solved problems earlier. They have everybody
Obviously, like
faces
you can learn from them. Yeah.
faces problem.
Yeah.
They solve it by themselves.
Yeah.
But if you are able to learn and understand and know how to solve problems before even you face them, it makes your journey faster.
It does. Yeah. Yeah. So as your like sort of work ethic like developed through the years, which traits do you think have helped you the most?
I would say I have initially when I joined business, I had to do a lot of unlearning. Okay,
Yeah.
you feel that you've done MBA
Yeah.
and you have a sort of an ego, which makes you feel superior than the others, and I think that's a big problem. So when I joined business, I started realizing how much I did not know.
Yeah.
So many
Yeah.
things I did not
Yeah.
know. For example, how to prepare for a meeting. There has to be is a very simple point,
Yeah. Yeah.
but we are supposed to do a lot of homework before you go to a meeting. And as a normal person, you would never do. You just go and an immature person would just go and attend a meeting.
Yeah.
But a matured person would
Like sort of come prepared with
come
everything.
with a lot of preparation and homework, and that will set it. You can see a difference in people who come prepared
Yeah.
for a meeting.
Yeah.
Second, be upfront. Being upfront and not playing games. Being truthful all the time makes you go miles forward. So sometimes you feel that you want to put across your point, but you are hesitating,
Yeah. Yeah.
and you will put it in a very indirect way, or you will
Yeah.
camouflage that point by putting some other point before that,
Yeah. Yeah.
and then slowly come around to that because of your own inhibitions, that how will the other person react,
Yeah. Yeah.
whether I will be taken correctly or not.
Yeah.
But most of the times, if you put your point across upfront very directly,
Yeah.
it is the best way to go forward. And I also learned this by falling many times during my interaction with people.
Yeah.
And my advice to all the younger people is you should adopt this right away.
Okay. Yeah.
Be always truthful, because if you lose your credibility in business, that is the worst thing to happen.
Yeah.
then you cannot make any progress because you cannot be trusted. So credibility has to be highest. You have to be always truthful.
I think, yeah, I think that even comes like even people like our age, if they start being truthful and they show like the credibility from now, that would sort of help them even in the future, like you said, when they go for meetings or whenever they're starting their own business, it'll come more easier to them to sort of perform that. And those habits, if they inculcate from now, and that's why I think like even schools and people from now are teaching children to sort of be credible even when it comes to something as simple as even deadlines, for example, or submitting things, because that's why the main thing that everyone is being taught, I think nowadays with AI being a main thing also, is to sort of be credible, be truthful, and then that will sort of, I guess, now what you said, help you in the future.
People are taught, unfortunately, gimmicks, negotiation, how to do good negotiation, how to do uh, make a person believe or influence a person in a way which you don't really believe.
Yeah.
I would say the best strategy is to be truthful, even if you don't know something. If you say, I don't know this, you will be surprised how many times the other person will help you. Whereas if you try to project something which you are not or which you don't know, it will most likely fall flat on its face. The other person, being a mature person, will always realize, and they may or may not say it, but ultimately they will not feel good about you.
Yeah.
So my advice is, even if you feel that this is not taking me ahead, be truthful still.
Yeah.
And it will sometime or the other take you ahead. You will leave a lasting impression. We as entrepreneurs, when we are looking for new candidates or new students or new people to hire,
Yeah.
the first criteria we would have in a person is being truthful.
Yeah. I think that's one thing, like credibility, being truthful. So I think that's
Yes.
one thing our budding entrepreneurs can sort of.
That also shows your courage. Are you having enough courage to say that I don't
Yeah,
know,
yeah,
I don't
yeah,
know,
yeah. I think,
or
yeah,
I am not
because
prepared? I would rather have someone tell me I'm not prepared.
admit that you're not
So
prepared, you
I will say,
don't
okay,
know.
cancel the
Yeah,
meeting. Please come back to me when you're prepared.
prepared,
That
yeah.
saves my time,
Instead of maybe saying that I am prepared but not actually
right?
being.
Because eventually we will discover
Yeah, yeah,
that you are not prepared.
yeah, great. Okay, so the second segment is called Shop Talk, and this is where we get to know our guests' business a bit better. So, Permanent Magnets is involved in business of manufacturing and selling magnets for a wide variety of applications. Can you tell the viewers in a brief bit about the business and like the industry?
So today, permanent magnets sale, the actual magnet sale is only 10% of the business.
Okay.
The name is permanent magnets, but the business has changed quite a bit.
Okay.
And there is a story behind this, that when we started, it was of course with magnets. And unfortunately, so the magnet business kept on rising. Then there came a time when there was a big disruption in the industry,
Yeah.
and the magnet business fell down by 90%
Oh,
suddenly.
okay.
And around that point was a time to do a thinking, what are we going to do? It was like we were in a very, very bad shape,
So why exactly did the like fall happen?
because the major sales were to energy meter industry and to automotive industry.
Okay.
Energy meter being the biggest, about 80%. And
Okay.
energy meter industry became digital from electromechanical.
So they were like substitutes in a way.
They were the next generation.
Yeah.
They did not need magnets anymore.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, so we did not have any
Use.
place to sell.
Yeah.
So business finished. So we had to think, what do we do? So of course, the main shift that happened was, instead of selling a product, we decided we will sell our capability. Okay.
Okay.
When you are, so for example, in the magnet manufacturing process, we use processes like casting, heat treatment, finishing operations. We said we are no longer going to sell only magnets to our customer. We will sell anything. We will tell our customer these are our capabilities.
Okay.
And any product out of these capabilities we can do.
Yeah.
That changed the whole scenario for us, in the sense we could target a lot more markets.
Yeah. Yeah.
So today we are doing products for electric vehicles, stamped parts, casted parts. We are doing separate heat treatment for different companies, and very, very unrelated products, but all arising out of the same capabilities. So while we are expanding these product portfolio out of these capabilities, we are also increasing the capabilities now. But the main shift was that.
Yeah, so you just like you spread it all out, and now obviously you're expanding and growing the amount
But
of
the
it.
main shift was focusing on informing and selling our capability to the customer, rather than the product, which is the main change we made. So of course it gave a lot of growth to the company.
Okay, nice. So how has the journey of Permanent Magnets and you as the owner been over the years? You said a bit about like the trajectory and how it shifted.
Yeah, so I joined the business in 1999, and then I joined in the purchase department. And after working there for some time, I started looking after finance, and then after marketing. And I did a lot of marketing, international marketing. I used to travel 5-6 times in a year internationally, and try to grow this business. And I kept on growing the magnet business. Eventually it fell and became very, very small. And then after a few years, my uncle, who was the managing director, forced me to take up a management position, which I was not very keen. I was very happy in the marketing role, because I felt that I was doing a good job there. And because it was a big change when you go from a functional role to a management role. A management role is to more to do with influencing people. And functional role, you are doing things yourself. A management role, you can multiply your energies by achieving the same task through different people. And functionally, you can do only one thing by yourself, right? But the skills required are very different. So then after that I became managing director, and then of course followed
that path.
my ideas path to grow in whatever way we could.
Great, fascinating. So how is the dynamic of working in a family-owned business? Like, do you think it helps or does it like hinder sometimes?
Well, fortunately, Permanent Magnets, or PML, what we call, is a listed company, and 58%, let's say about 60%, is held by the family. The balance is held by other shareholders. So it's a relatively professionally managed company. Although I'm a family member who owns majority shares, but still I would say this company is run very professionally. And fortunately, there is no other family member who is looking into this business. I'm the only one looking into this business. So I do not have to deal with any family issues. Although we do reporting to the family, to the promoters, as per the rules, whatever we have, and as per the systems that we set. But I never had any problems.
That really hindered your
that stopped me from taking some decisions. Even when I was in the management role and my uncle was the chairman and I was the managing director, he always gave me a lot of freedom to do what I wanted to do. And I made huge mistakes also, very, very big mistakes, which could have costed us a huge problem it would have created for us. But that was all necessary for my growth.
Yeah.
If the person who's managing the business grows himself or herself, they will take decisions correctly in future.
Yeah.
So it is important that that person grows.
Yeah.
Any
So
person who's in the decision making role.
So I think your family like sort of allowed you to make those downfalls so you could learn from that.
Yes.
They gave you that freedom.
Exactly.
So that's
And that
good.
is critical, and the family gave me that. And whatever mistakes I made, they also suffered because they are a part of the shareholders. They also suffered.
Suffered, yeah.
But that was necessary for my growth. It happened, and I'm fortunate.
Yeah.
And ultimately, I feel it is for the good, whatever happened.
Nice. I mean, yeah, obviously, I mean, look where you are right now. Yeah. So now that you look back, would you think that you would have done anything like differently?
Yes, lot of things. I have wasted a lot of time in just doing things. So when I entered into business, I was in the purchasing role. I'm doing purchasing activity.
Yeah.
When I'm in finance, I'm doing financial management.
Yeah.
When I'm in marketing, I'm trying to sell.
Yeah.
And all the time doing, but never stepping back and thinking.
And reflecting, yeah.
Reflecting, thinking.
Yeah.
And had I done that much more earlier in my life, I would have done things differently. And I find that even today, many people do this. I have done, and I have wasted so many years of my life.
Yeah.
And today, what we are doing is we are making, even I'm doing it for myself. Whenever I have to do some, let's say, decide on a particular problem,
Yeah.
I will step back and make a document, because just thinking cannot happen continuously in your brain like that,
Yeah.
day after day. You have to structure it. So the best way to do that is to write it down.
Like journaling in a way.
So whatever your thoughts are, your questions are,
Yeah.
I will write it down. Put down my answer, then again next question, again next answer. And this is the way I will build a document. And that document then I can read back maybe later on also, maybe after a few weeks, after a few months, a few years. But that will put down everything in a structured way. And if I want to consult someone, that document is very, very helpful to me to consult my mentors also.
Yeah.
For example,
Yeah.
when I go to my mentors, I always prepare a document. I give it to them. Or I send them.
When you write down your thought process, it becomes easier.
It's tough because you don't feel like doing it. It takes time.
Yeah.
But it is worth it.
Yeah.
So I wish I would have adopted all these things much more earlier. But okay, whenever you can, you do it.
I think this is really helpful for like budding entrepreneurs. Even they can know like something as like reflecting and writing down your thoughts, even though it might be a bit difficult and you don't want to do it, is something that will help you in the long run.
Reflecting and basically thinking, why am I doing whatever I'm doing?
What you're doing,
What
yeah.
is the purpose? What is the need? What is the purpose I am doing this? And to always have an overview. You look at it from an overview,
Like a holistic point of view.
and then you go inside into the depth. And this continuous process of
Yeah.
overview and the micro details.
Yeah.
If you do this,
Yeah.
then generally you will have a better understanding of the problem. You can frame it correctly. Framing the problem correctly,
Yeah.
they say, is half the work done.
Yeah. So
So
this is where you're looking from like different perspectives of the problem, right?
thinking about it,
Yeah.
you have to spend time thinking about it. Rather than most people, they will immediately try to attack the problem, solve it by giving a decision or saying something.
But you should take time and
If you
sort
step
of
back, you
plan it.
think.
Yeah. Yeah.
Is this, for example, if you're sitting in a meeting, somebody poses a problem to you, you're very keen to answer. But if you think about it and if you feel is this really the problem,
Yeah.
or is it something else? You will save a lot of time.
Got it. Yeah.
Otherwise, you'll be discussing on something which is not really
And
the
you're like just
problem.
like beating around the bush and
People
not
say
getting
something,
that.
but the
Yeah.
problem may be something different.
Something
So
different.
identifying that, spending time in doing that work, I would say is most critical,
Okay.
which I missed in my
Yeah.
earlier life, initial many years of my life.
Yeah. So our third segment is called Speed Slam, and it's more like a fun segment. So I'm gonna like just shoot questions, and you're gonna like answer without like thinking about a lot about it. Okay. So the first question is: rank between the following factors that you think make a business successful: strategy, innovation, entrepreneurship, cost effectiveness, marketing, and sales. Should I repeat it again?
But this, of course, it is business to business specific. But in general, I would say
You can answer from your like business
I would
perspective.
say strategy number 1,
Okay.
entrepreneurship number 2, and probably sales and marketing number 3,
And then innovation and cost effectiveness.
innovation, and then last cost
Cost
effectiveness.
effectiveness.
Yes.
Okay. Have you ever had to bluff your way through a situation? I know you said that all about like truthfulness, but have you ever said like a white lie to sort of get away with
Yes,
something?
I have never had to, but I chose to.
Okay.
The wrong choice. I've done it, but it was a wrong thing I did.
Would you say what the white lie was?
It was quite a few. I must have said earlier in my life. Generally, I'm not saying. I mean, I would never say that now, but I don't remember any specific.
But you have.
But I have, for example, in my college life,
Mm-hmm.
we were going out with friends, and we did not tell our parents that they told us no,
Yeah.
we will not go.
Yeah.
We still went, and we lied about it.
And they never came to know.
They came to know.
Oh, they came to know. Okay.
They came to know, and we had to say sorry, and we had to apologize, and whatever. And then we had some meetings about it. They had some concerns about where we are going, and of course, we did not think it was that much of a concern.
Yeah.
And we desperately wanted to go.
Yeah. So you told a couple of
So
white
I
lies
went,
before.
and it was a really white lie.
So, what does a day off look like for you?
A day off will be at home watching some movie or going out with friends for lunch, dinner,
Nice.
playing with my son, some sport like TT we play,
Nice.
or some trek.
Okay, cool. Trekking. Nice, nice. So you said you don't mind like watching a movie or something in your day off. What are the last 3 books or movies that you have read or watched?
I can tell you about 3 books which I remember now, which I also felt they are very nice books. One is The Prophet by Khalil Gibran, and in which particularly the section about children.
Okay.
Second one is The Power of Vulnerability by Brené Brown. And the third one, which I really liked, was E-Myth by Michael Gerber.
Okay.
And these 3 I remember quite
Well,
well. Yeah.
nice, nice. And lastly, what is your favorite business destination and your favorite holiday destination?
For business, I really like USA.
Anywhere specific in the US?
I generally go to Atlanta and near Atlanta in a small place called Seneca and Oconee County, where I have a customer there. And USA I really like because I have studied there, so I feel like home when I'm going there. I feel everything works very well for me. I can drive, and I know all the systems there and everything. And I know the people, how they talk, and they are very upfront and very nice people to do business with. Second very nice destination was Brazil. I recently have not been there, but highly relationship oriented business. People are very warm and you can create friends and they help you in business. Third one, which I like, is Germany, which is again very technical because we are in engineering industry.
Yeah,
So another
yeah.
very good destination.
And what about holiday destinations, just to take like?
Holiday destinations, I love Goa. It has, once you land there, I feel,
Like the vacation has just started
yes, it
already.
is a different feel to it. I cannot
Yeah.
say what that feeling is.
Mm-hmm.
I really love it. And internationally, I would say Switzerland is a very
It's really
serene,
beautiful, yeah.
serene and beautiful. I love
Yeah.
Canada also. And I think I would say these two I found, even Ireland, or these three I found very, very nice.
Nice. I think maybe one of them, our audience might go to Ireland, Switzerland, or maybe even Goa for vacation.
Everybody must travel. I feel travel gives you a lot of learning.
Yeah.
It teaches you the ways of different people, how they talk, how they eat, what the cultural nuances are, and it's a way to equip yourself with what the world is doing. So I feel travel is very
It's a
important
must,
in life.
yeah, of course.
It's
Yeah.
important in life.
Yeah. So the last segment is called Learn from the Master, and this is where you can give any like parting thoughts or any advice for our audience. So if someone finishes high school and came to you for advice, what would you suggest as the first few steps on their entrepreneurial journey?
There are many points, some very, very basic points which they don't teach you in college, but few of them I can say.
Yeah.
For example, when you're having a discussion or a problem solving or dispute with another person, start by trusting the intention of the person. Always assume that the intention of the person is right. The moment you do not trust the intention of the person, your communication will change, and the person whom you're speaking with will automatically sense it.
Yeah.
No matter what you say,
Yeah. Yeah.
even if you try to hide it, you will communicate that. So, in your mind, believe that the intention is correct. And whatever that person said or did may be due to some circumstance which you don't know. And if you start with this, you can resolve so many problems.
Okay.
Second advice would be 100% honest.
Yeah. 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 So
I've said that earlier.
credibility.
I would again be, when in doubt, say the truth.
Yeah.
Generally, this would be my advice. And third would be, see, 0% effort will give you 0% result. But 100% effort may give you at least 1%, but 0% will definitely give you 0%.
So like try your best in whatever you do.
So you have to attempt.
Yeah.
You have to attempt.
Yeah. Before
Things
just,
will not happen automatically.
you have to at least try.
Anything that you have to solve, you have to put in time and attempt to do it.
Yeah. Yeah.
There are many other points, but I think on the top of my head, these are the ones that I can
because
think of.
the first one especially was something new for me also. I think it'll be new for the audience also what you had said, but it's quite interesting. So yeah.
Yeah, it has happened with me.
About like just like the right intention.
Yes, and when you don't trust the intention of the person, your dispute with them continues to linger on. You cannot, you will never be able to resolve. And in business, it is mostly about understanding each other, solving the problems together. And in that, if you have a mistrust,
then it won't.
that the person who is talking to me does not have the right intention, you will never be able to work together. And business is all about teamwork.
It's all about teamwork. Yeah, it's all about making the relationships. So credibility, truthfulness, and right intentions.
Yeah, but this point is more about to work with yourself.
Okay, interesting.
So I mean, creating a mindset
Yeah.
in your
Yeah.
own thought to to have that mindset before you start talking.
Start. Okay. What are some of the traps or most common mistakes that one should watch out for?
In business,
Mm-hmm.
I would say the biggest one is not thinking about what you are doing, why you are doing,
Mm-hmm.
not strategizing. You always start with what you want to do. What do you, most people forget what do I want.
What's the intention
Yeah,
behind?
particularly younger people
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
immature people
Yeah.
would start talking before knowing what do I want.
Yeah.
Most common mistake.
I think people what they sometimes do is like they get excited and then they just say whatever like
Their
comes.
intention is not to solve the problem at all. Their
Yeah.
intention is to show how I'm good at talking,
Yeah. Like
how
I
much I
I I,
know,
I proved this point.
how
I
much I
did
know.
this. Yeah.
I am knowledgeable. That is the
Yeah.
main intention
But
probably.
that's not the right intention.
That is not necessary and not required.
Yeah. Yeah.
So people who know what they want
Mm-hmm.
will generally structure their conversation accordingly.
Accordingly. Yeah. So we often hear of the younger generation wanting to enter the service-oriented business. So you being an engineering firm, what do you think are some of the options available to young entrepreneurs?
India today is in a wonderful situation where a lot of business is automatically coming to India, including the manufacturing business.
Yeah, yeah.
The government is giving a lot of push to manufacturing business. So other than the service business, I would say there are a lot of opportunities which Indian entrepreneurs can can grab and start by manufacturing business. And you can go outside and get uh, technology from outside. You can there are foreign companies who are wanting to come to India. If you have any idea, and you can do a lot in the manufacturing space today. So other than the service also, there are many other
Other
options. I
options.
feel there are many options.
Interesting. Okay.
You need to study,
Start obviously, yeah, yeah.
and of
See
course
what
there
you
has to be
also are interested in.
yes, but
Yeah.
there has to be some starting point where you feel okay, I am good at this particular, or I like this area,
Yeah. And based
and
on
then
that
you have
you
to do a little bit of research
yeah.
on what the
Yeah.
market is, how it, again, before you jump into something,
You have to do research.
have to do research, make
Yeah.
your full document,
Yeah.
or test it out. It is always easier and cheaper to make a document and throw it away that this is not working.
Yeah.
You can make 100 documents.
Yeah.
But once you enter, start, put your money into some business. It does not work.
It
Then
doesn't.
you wasted that money, wasted that time.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it is much easier to do work on the paper first.
Interesting. So what is next for Permanent Magnets?
PML is growing well. We have our challenges, but our direction of growth is in two ways. One, by based on the capabilities, as I said. So based on the capabilities, we are getting new businesses,
Yeah.
and other some specific business we are doing by way of increasing the inquiries or pipeline of projects that we have.
Yeah.
So these two methods we are growing, and the dream is to make this company 10 times the size it is today, early as possible. We have not defined how early or in how many years. I believe that if you make it too aggressive, then people don't bite that goal.
Yeah. Yeah.
If you make it too loose, you may miss out on doing it early.
Yeah.
So we have not defined that goal, but we are moving in that direction to make it big. So that is the dream.
That's the dream.
Yeah.
So are there any other parting thoughts that you'd like to share with our viewers? And you've given fantastic advice, I think, but any other like last minute sort of things that you want to like share with them?
I would say for new students who are entering into business, the biggest thing that you can do is to keep it very simple and do these basic things like being truthful, preparing for your meetings, trusting the intention of others. And
Yeah.
I think the basic traits, human traits,
If that comes up from now, it'll help
working
them in
hard,
the long run.
trying to
Yeah.
apply yourself, all these basic traits, if you learn,
Hmm.
are far more important than than the gimmicks, what people teach you or what courses teach you,
Yeah.
or the technical knowledge.
Hmm.
Technical knowledge can be learned later on also.
Yeah. Yeah.
But these traits you have to develop.
Hmm.
You have to specifically work on them.
Yeah.
So I would say work on these traits. These are the most, business leaders are hungry for people who have these traits.
Traits.
They will immediately
Catch them. Yeah.
take those people
Yeah,
on
yeah.
board with them. If I were to decide my next CEO of this company,
They should have such traits.
I would want a person to have these traits.
Yeah.
So the moment I see these traits in a person, I will try to encourage that person to take on more responsibility.
Great. Wonderful. Thank you so much for you coming on the Hustle Diaries. It was a pleasure having this interview.
No, pleasure
And
is
I'm
mine.
sure-
Very nice. In whatever way I could help, and good questions.
I'm sure the viewers really liked the advice that you gave.
Thank you. Thank you.